My name is Dag Johan Haugerud, and I have written and directed a trilogy called Sex, Dreams and Love. It can be different things. It can be both, I think, my own experiences from my own life, and also things I read about and hear, and books and other movies as well, and politics, of course. I think everything that you relate to in everyday life can be some part of a starting point for a movie or an idea for a movie. It's hard to put the finger on what exactly is that triggers an idea, but I think everything all together. And for this trilogy, it started by a young journalist asking me if there should be, why there wasn't any sex in my movies, and I thought that if there isn't, I should really make a movie about sex, but maybe in a different way, because I think that people are so used to see images of sexuality, to see people having sex, but they are not that used to hear people talk about the sexuality and the bodily functions and so on. That's quite rare. So I thought that maybe that would be a way to do it. I should start by saying that this was originally meant to be one short movie that should last about an hour or something. And that was the first film, Sex, because I had made a shorter movie before, that was also presented as a feature film in the cinemas in Norway, that lasted about 60 minutes, and I wanted to do one more of those because I really liked the short format. But then we couldn't get any money to do that. And the consultant at Norwegian Film Institute, she said she wanted something longer, something bigger. And the last time I applied, it was too long, and then I thought, okay, it's never really right. So my reaction to that, and my producer's reaction, was that, okay, if she wants something long, she will get a very big project. So then we applied for 3 movies at once, like a trilogy. And then we got the money to do that. And then we shot it back to back in a year. So we started the first one in August, in the end of August, and ended in June the following year. And then we edited in between, so it was, a lot of work at the same time. Originally, I thought it was about, what it means to be, to have a sexuality, if sexuality and sexual identity is the same thing, or if you can think that it's 2 separate things. And to me, I think it's 2 separate things. I think the sexual identity is something you take, in a way, but sexuality is something you have. And that sexuality can also be very complex and different from person to person. If you really have a look inside and try to figure out what kind of sexuality you have, or what kind of sex you like to have, I think it differs very much from person to person. That's one thing. And the other thing is, take a sexual identity, coming out of a closet and saying, pronouncing that I am gay, or I am bisexual, or I am a trans person, or whatever, or I'm non-binary. But that is something else, I would say. So I was trying to show that in the movie. So that was my starting point and my main aim, to try to say something about that. I wouldn't say that. I think it challenges both, and I think it's hugely important that that it is now easier for people to come out and to be whoever they are. But at the same time, I think there also should be necessary. It should be possible. I mean, to have a sexuality without coming out, because not everybody wants that. So I think in order to be a free person, you have to choose that. You don't have to come out if you don't want to. And I think that my thoughts about this, you know, by making a difference between sexuality and sexual identity, is probably more relevant when you are free to choose. But if you're not free to choose your identity, if you live in a world that where they are saying that there is just one way or another, there are only male and female, you know, then you should try to fight that first, I think. I'm quite interested in different occupations, and I wanted to talk to different people from different occupations to see if there was some kind of similarities in the personalities that choose a certain occupation. And so I talked to a lot of people. I talked to teachers, and I talked to lawyers, prison guards, and I talked to chimney sweepers. I talked to people who had occupations that I didn't know anything about, because I wanted to find out how their everyday life is, and if there are some kind of certain things that connects them. And then I chose the chimney sweepers. I found that they were really interesting to see how happy they were. And of course they felt quite free, walking out, visiting people and walking on the roofs as they do still. And it also, that's also important, it gave us the chance to film Oslo from the rooftops. No, I think that health workers, if there are doctors or nurses, they have something that many other occupations don't have. They need to have and to show some kind of empathy that is really at the core of their work, because they have to get so close and intimate to people, and they are taking care of people. You know, I also think that health workers are talking more freely about body and bodily functions, and they are so used to that, so they don't have any shame towards it. It's easy for them to talk about sex, and it's easy for them to talk about illness and how illness affects the body. So, yeah. But I think all three movies are giving some kind of, not a sketch, but some kind of possibilities to how things could be. You know, I think it's always quite interesting and good to try to think differently about everything, really, to see if it's possible to think about this and to talk about this from a different perspective of different angles. And is it possible to imagine a different world, really? That goes for all of them, I think. But maybe sex more than the other one. But love also, I think, in a way. Because love has this character there that is a bit too good to be true, in a way. They are very, very empathic and very nice people, Marianne and Tor. I think they are showing us that it is possible to be like that, but maybe not many people are. No, I draw from my own memories, really, of how it was to be so much in love that she is. And I think that being in love or falling in love is more or less the same for every generation, these very, very strong feelings. And maybe it develops differently, but I think the first, feeling of falling in love with someone, this very, very strong feeling, it's very much the same for all people. And I think you should be very happy if you can experience that, because it's an extraordinary feeling, really, that takes over your life completely. You can't really act on your own will, really, because you just have to follow this falling in love feeling. So yeah, I draw much from my own experience. I think that was the only way possible for me to do that, really. That's a very hard question. Especially when I was young and watched love stories, I thought they were quite untrue in a way, because the happy ending doesn't really foresee everyday life afterwards. And I was always interested in what is happening afterwards, when the film is ending. How is this love life going to be then? So love stories was not really my cup of tea. I could almost be Johanna's grandfather, maybe, but I do really remember those feelings as well, and I remember how it was to be that much in love. And there is something that's a memory that never really leaves you, I think, and that for many people that memory are so strong that they never really feel that they get this kind of love again. So I think it's with you all through your life. Like life and experience happens, but life is with you all the time. The things that you experience when you are young is still with you in a way, and it's still reminding you of who you were then and what you have lost maybe under the way, what you miss now, and maybe you wanted to feel that kind of love again. Yeah, I think that location is always very important. When you choose locations, I want it always to be about the location as well, because we are relating to the locations we visit, and the locations we are a part of is really important for how we live and how we are conducting our lives. So locations is very important. And when I was going to shoot in Oslo, I also had to take a closer look at different parts of Oslo, I thought. And I'm not from Oslo myself, so even though I have been living there for 30 years, maybe, yeah, so I know it quite well. It is not my hometown, so I'm always some kind of guest in Oslo. That also makes it really easy for me to go and observe different parts of Oslo and try to figure out what is this part. What does it represent? How is the class system in this part? How does that relate to the other part, and so on? So I'm through these movies, I'm also trying to tell, not the story, but I would like to present how you can perceive Oslo as a city now. And I think that is interesting to look at how it is changing through movies. Movies also. Eventually, it is an historic document.
How long should I wait for you to realize for yourself?
I wrote the scripts with the actors in mind, mostly. So, especially for Sex and Dreams. And the two main characters in Love, they are written especially for these actors that are playing them. And then they got the chance to read it on a quite early stage, and they gave me feedback, and I rewrote some, and then we had some table readings that gave me more feedback in a way, because then I listened, how it sounds and how it should sound, and then I rewrote again. But when we are shooting, there's no more rewriting. And there's never any improvisation. It's all written. Yeah.